the relevant.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
The Players' Championship on ESPN.
No, he didn't, did he?
Yes, he did.
Rory McIlroy returns to TPC Sawgrass to defend his title against an elite field of the world's best players.
Knows what it takes to win this trophy.
There's more pressure.
Oh, no.
More risk.
We were watching miracles unfold there for a sec.
More heartbreak.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. ASUN basketball tournament action. UNA season comes to an end as the 12th-seeded Lions fall to 5th-seed Florida Gulf Coast 69-58. SEC women's tournament basketball, 15th-seed Auburn knocks off 10th-seed Texas A&M 50-49. Tigers will take on 7th-seed Ole Miss today, 5 p.m. 11th-seed Alabama gets 14 points from Ace Austin. They knock off 14th-seed Missouri. Crimson Tide will take on 6th-seed Tennessee. Tip-off set for 7:30. High school basketball, Final Four action. Class 6A girls. Hazel Green will play for a 6A state titles. They down Chelsea 59-32. They're going to take on Park Crossing, who got 5-4 Payne 48-46. 6A boys, Coleman over Calera 61-56. 5A boys, Sylacauga 59, Guntersville 50. And 5A girls, Guntersville 53, Briarwood Christian 43. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. Glad that you have joined us for this 2-hour exercise in radio excellence. Every Thursday, we do feature some sort of throwback bump music. We try to tie it in somehow to what's going on the show. I can imagine what we might have today. It could be old TV shows or cartoons or movies or wrestling walk-up songs or musicians' birthdays or deaths or whatever. It's whatever the boys come up with. I mean, there's no theme necessarily to it, but they'll kind of theme it a little bit as well. We are building a library of throwback tunes for you. You can contribute to that by going ahead and hitting the text window with some stuff that you would like to hear here and there on Throwback Thursday. And, I'll pass it along to the boys, and we'll see what we can do with that. All right, we are going to spend a little time today on the passing of Lou Holtz to this morning. Depending on your age, you may remember him as a great coach. You may remember him as a tremendous analyst on ESPN with Reese Davis and Mark May and some of the bits that they did. And I mean, he was the Lee Corso he was like the Lee Corso backup. You had your game day with Lee Corso, and then you had the studio show, and you had Lou Holtz there. And Holtz and Corso were kind of cut from the same cloth, although Holtz was much more successful, obviously, as a coach. But he used to have legendary debates with Mark May and his unique way of talking and so on. You may remember him as a motivational speaker because he was all of those things and more. He was also from West Virginia, like Nick Saban. And he went to Kent State like Nick Saban. And believe it or not, he played on, or at least was on the team, as an undersized linebacker. Can you imagine Lou Holtz? Undersized linebacker in the late 50s at Kent State, much how Saban was an undersized defensive back in the early 70s. Saban played more than Lou Holtz did, but Holtz was a quote machine. One of my favorites was, quote, if you want to be happy for an hour, eat a steak. If you want to be happy for a day, go play golf. If you want to be happy for a week, then go take a vacation. But if you want to be happy for a lifetime, put your faith in Jesus Christ. Close quote. Now, Holtz was also a bit of a magician. Now, more on that in a minute. We're going to show you something in a little bit. Not right now, but in a little bit. Those of you that are watching on WZZN TV. But look, if you are going to recall the life and times of Lou Holtz and tell his story, you have to tell it complete, including the fact that he left numerous violations in his wake as he went from school to school. But there was much more good than bad in Lou Holtz, including his final media moment when he called Ryan Day and Ohio State soft. That feud began in 2025 on a Pat McAfee show and continued through last season. Remember on the McAfee show that one of McAfee's guys, one of his guys there does an incredible Lou Holtz imitation. I mean, I hope that doesn't go away. The guy does a great imitation. So they did a bit in 2023 with the Lou Holtz interviewing Lou Holtz. And the real Lou Holtz said some things about Ohio State that, to be quite honest with you, rang true. I've got that queued up for you as well, plus Ryan Day's response after they beat Alabama. Or check that, after they beat Notre Dame. All right, so the comments were made before the Notre Dame game in 2023, and then Ohio State goes out and beats Notre Dame at Notre Dame. So we'll share some of that with you. But to be honest, there's some truth in it. Even in the wake of the Buckeyes 2024 national championship, there's some truth to the comments that Lou Holtz made about Ryan Day and Ohio State. And keep in mind, Ohio State was favored in the Big Ten championship game against Indiana. They were the favorite. They got dumped. Hour one is wide open, so there's plenty of room to get you in with your thoughts. At the top of the 11, former NFL Executive of the Year Jeff Diamond is back with the latest NFL news and his brush with Lou Holtz back in the day, and I'll explain that as well. And then we are scheduled for Notre Dame alum and recently minted Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Pete Weber is scheduled to join us, depending on his recording schedule, before tonight's game between the Bruins and the Preds in Nashville. And we're not going to know about that until the last minute. He does his coach's interview about the same time that we would get with him. And so we're going to see if we can sneak him in. Hopefully he'll get that done before or after. Phone lines are open. You can feel free to jump in and contribute at 256-576-4977. We have a text window for you as well. We'll read and react to those on the air at 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. That will get you into the show as well with your thoughts and comments. You can also watch the show on WZZN TV. So check that out as well. You'll find it at the Facebook page. You'll find it at the Twitter page. You can also find it at my Twitter page, my X page, which is at Thom Abraham Show. Did you see the Elon Musk tweet asking about whether or not he should change the name back to Twitter? I mean, what has it been, a year or so as X? And now is it supposed to be Twitter again? I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't know if that'll happen. Lou Holtz spent a lot of time doing motivational speeches and a lot of time talking to big-time executives and leaders of industry.
But most important thing, we're going to hold people accountable for the choices they make. The difference between athletes today and 50 years ago, today everybody wants to talk about their rights and their privileges. 50 years ago, people talked about their obligation and responsibilities. And I'm one of these people that firmly believe you join a spouse, you join a team, you join a business. You have obligations to other people. If you want to fail, you have the right to fail. You do not have the right to cause other people to fail because you don't do everything to the very best of your ability.
I don't know did he have like a deviated septum or something? I don't know if he always sounded like he was stuffed up, didn't he? He was like a caricature of himself. Lou Holtz always sounded like he needed to blow his nose or something. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. But he went at it over Ryan Day. It was at game day. And it was game day before the Notre Dame, I believe that's what it was. Or it was the McAfee show was being done at Notre Dame before the Notre Dame Ohio State game. And Holtz got loose talking about Ryan Day at that point in his career. This is 2023.
He has lost to Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan twice, and everybody that beats him does so because they're more physical than Ohio State. And I think Notre Dame will take that same approach.
So that was what and that was before he lost to Michigan a third time. So then they go out Ohio State. They go out and beat Notre Dame on a late score to get the win over Notre Dame. Ryan Day being interviewed immediately after the game.
Coach, you knew this one wasn't going to be easy, but it came down to the wire. And what can you say about the performance from your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to finish that drive?
Toughness, that's it. Physicality, across the board, finish it off, having guts. You know, like I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world. And it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
What did they prove to you tonight in this victory that you'll take away and run with?
Toughness. Everybody's questioning these kids all the time. We had one bad half the last couple years. That's it.
Wait. They had one bad half in the last couple of years? Got beat by Alabama, Clemson, Michigan 3 times. Had one bad half? Come on now, Coach. I wouldn't go there. Ohio against the world? Is it really Ohio against the world? I mean, does anybody ever think? I mean, if you want to say it's Ohio State against the college football world, okay, kind of. They're not really a villain. You don't really think of them that way. But to say that it's Ohio against the world, I don't think it's Ohio against the world. I'm not sure.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Do you hear the grasshopper, which is at your feet?
Old man, how is it that you hear these things?
Young man, how is it that you do not?
As quickly as you can, snatch the pebble from my hand. When you can take the pebble from my hand, it will be time for you to leave.
Ohio. Is it always been Ohio against the world, John?
I mean,
Ohio?
I think it's usually the other way around, where it's the world against Ohio.
You think the whole world is against Ohio?
Yeah, I do.
Are there like, does Indiana and Pennsylvania and Kentucky, do they all have like missiles lined up along their border against Ohio?
No, I think people usually just leave Ohio to do their own things.
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's Ohio against the world.
If you've been a part of social media in the last few years, you've learned that it's pretty much a battleground up there. I need to get up there for a Browns game one of these days. I'll experience the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's Ohio against anybody. Really, I don't think that's the way it is.
Maybe Miami, Ohio in basketball.
Look, is he yeah, right. It's Miami, Ohio against Bruce Pearl. Is Lou Holtz wrong though? What he had said, by the way, that feud started in 2023 and it extended all the way through to last fall. I mean, Lou Holtz did not give it just because Ohio State won in 2024. He didn't give up on that thing. I mean, that kind of maintained itself all the way through. And I don't think that Lou Holtz was really off base on that. And he's making those comments as an 87-year-old when he made those comments. They're pretty lucent. My father's 86, and I don't think he's always that lucent. Lou Holtz was pretty lucent there. He's got to be one of the most imitated guys ever. Don't you think? I mean, Lou Holtz.
I agree with that. I mean, with whatever he was able to do back whenever he was with Notre Dame, and then he goes over to the SEC. I mean, he just had such a long-lasting, I would say, trying to find the word for it, but it kind of
had an incredible career as a coach.
Yeah,
he did leave a lot of mess in his wake, and I'm going to detail some of that, in the next segment.
But you don't coach for so long without doing that, though.
Yeah,
you're going to ruffle some feathers.
Well, it wasn't ruffling feather. I mean, look, I'll tell you one of the things that went on, and he restored the glory to Notre Dame. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And he was the head coach of Notre Dame when they won their last national championship in 1988, going 12-0 when they won in the Fiesta Bowl against, ironically, West Virginia, where he was born. They were 11-0 in the regular season back when they played 11 games in the 80s. They were 11-0 in the regular season, then won the Fiesta Bowl and were national champions. He comes back the next year, he's 12-1. They had something like a 23, 25, something like that game winning streak. It's the longest winning streak in the history of Notre Dame. And think about who you're talking about. Talking about Notre Dame. I personally believe that he won Notre Dame's last national championship. I don't think Notre Dame wins on it. I know they got to national championship a couple of times since then. Got, head stomped when they got there by, Alabama and, I just don't. I don't see Notre Dame winning. I was shocked that they got to those. I thought Notre Dame. It felt like post Lou Holtz that Notre Dame was going the way of the Ivies. That they were going to be like that. But in the era that they were dominating, in 88 national champion, 89 12-1. 1990, 9-3, 91, 10-3, 92, 10-1, 93, 11-1, 92, they were 10-1. So they're having that dominant run there. If you read the book Under the Tarnished Dome, there's a lot of reporting there that steroid use was rampant on that team. And Holtz kind of turned a blind eye to it. Now, again, we're coming out of an era where steroid use it wasn't illegal. I don't know what the rules were in college. One of my best friends in coaching when I was a coach played in the USFL in 84, 85, and then played for the Dolphins in 86, 87, 88. And he was an undersized linebacker at 6'1", 230 pounds naturally. And he beefed up. He was probably 210 naturally and beefed up to 235, 240 to play. Was special teams captain and so on at the Dolphins. And he was on a regimen from the Dolphins team doctor. 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. Anabolic steroid. And he used to joke to me in the 90s when we were coaching together and we played against each other in high school, and he would joke to me, I don't know what kind of damage I did to my heart. And, we've seen so many players from that era die, guys like Mike Webster and things like that were known steroid users, that their hearts basically exploded. And my friend, my buddy, he used to do these rides for the Wounded Warriors. He actually owns a CrossFit gym in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's in incredible shape. He competed in CrossFit in the Masters, the over 50 group, and been on TV numerous times doing that. And then his son became a champion competing in that. His son and my son used to play. His son, my son, and Ryan Poles, the GM of the Chicago Bears now, they all played together during football practice when Ryan's daddy and my buddy and I were all coaching together, and the kids would hang out and play. 6, 7, 8 years old, they would hang out and play together. And he was doing a ride along the Natchez Chase. They just started, him and a bunch of other guys, and they were doing a bike ride, a 400-mile bike trek along the Natchez Chase, starting in Nashville and going all the way to Mississippi, wherever that thing ends. And he had a massive heart attack. And if he wasn't in such great shape, he would have died. He was in such great shape, the doctor said they were able to, his heart basically exploded. And, it's hard not to tie it back. But back in that era, there was a lot of that steroid use going on. And the rumor was that Notre Dame was, that was a big, big thing, part of their culture there.
It was also, it was at a time where the sample size was a little bit less. You obviously had a lot of people that were doing it, but you didn't have those 30-year studies to really tell,
no, they didn't know
what the effect of it would truly be. But you got to feel at the end of it all, with this whole feud between Ryan Day and Holtz, that Day got the last laugh because his team came up on top just last year when it came to the national title game.
Yeah, I don't know
there might be. And
I don't know if I'm going 100% there, though, because I thought that they underachieved again last year. You know what I mean? I thought that they kind of, they win that national championship. Look, I guess this is the way I'm looking at it. The team that Urban Meyer left Ryan Day, they should have won 3 national championships by now.
Yes, but
and they got one out of it so far. Ryan Day, to me, he's got a little bit of Larry Coker in him. Larry Coker took over an unbelievable Miami team, won a national championship, and then it slowly kind of deteriorated. I don't know that this is going to slowly deteriorate, but the fact of the matter is he got beat by Michigan 3 years in a row. He, got whacked by Clemson and Alabama in championship games. So, I don't know about one bad half, over a period of a couple of years.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as dominant whenever, Urban Meyer was in it, early 2010s and all that. I was scared of that team, but thankfully they weren't able to make it to the postseason because of all the bans that they had.
Yeah. All right, we'll get a break in here. If you want to react, Ryan Day will also show you, Lou Holtz will also show you, those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, you got to check this out. The Lou Holtz newspaper trick. He did it for the Texas team. It's stunning, really. And we'll take your calls. Line up behind my cousin Vinny, 256-576-4977 to get you into the show. I've got other stuff I want to get to. The WBC got started. The Americans play on Friday against Brazil. I got some ABS thoughts here as I watched another spring training game yesterday on ESPN between the Yankees and Red Sox, and there was about 6 of these challenges. The umpire got 5 of the 6 right, and the umpire was like, yeah, you know what? Go ahead. There was a game I watched earlier where the umpire missed 6 straight. There was 6 straight times they were challenges, and the umpire was wrong. And when he finally got one right, the crowd was like, hey, they gave him a Brock's cheer. That game was also in Fort Myers. Well, the game yesterday was in Fort Myers, and this umpire got 5 out of 6 right. And that dude had some swagger, man. He's like walking back behind the plate like he had some swagger. Like, yeah. But I got some thoughts about it that I want to share, and you can react to that as well. Plus the CBSSports.com rankings of the SEC quarterbacks heading into this upcoming season and heading into spring ball, which gets started here shortly. And I'll give you some of the highlights of that as well. All right, it's Thom Abraham Show. Back with more right after this.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Westwood One presents Great Moments in Tournament History. Brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer.
Just the way they drew it up. A play called Pacer puts Valpo on the map. March 13th, 1998. First round in Oklahoma City. Valparaiso and Ole Miss. Valpo down by 2 and the ball at the wrong end of the floor with time for just one shot. Coach Homer Drew designs a Hail Mary play named Pacer for his son Bryce.
2.5 seconds to go, down 2. The inbounds pass thrown to half court. Jenkins catches, gets to Drew. Right wing three-pointer. Good! Valparaiso has knocked off Ole Miss.
The Crusaders continued their wizardry the next game, winning in overtime against Florida State to advance to the Sweet 16. Their great run ended in the next round when they lost to Rhode Island. But Drew's three-pointer will always be remembered as another great moment in NCAA tournament history. I'm Kevin Kugler.
97.7 The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. It's the single greatest fight song in the history of college football. It is. My list always has this: 1, Hail to the Victors; 2, Yay Alabama; 3, the Minnesota Rouser, which is the preamble to the Minnesota Gophers fight song, is absolutely amazing. I can't find it. I had it on a CD. I got to try and find this thing again. It's just an instrumental that is before the Minnesota Gopher fight song. It is unreal. And then I put USC 5th on that list. And when the USC marching band does Tusk, it's incredible. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That is absolutely incredible when they do that. But that other thing that they do, that they're the two most annoying things to me in college sports in terms of bands, the two most annoying things that get played ad nauseum. If you've ever been to a USC game, and I'm not talking about South Carolina, I'm talking about Southern Cal, that they do that.
Did we lose you? I think we lost Thom. So that's why I will come in. I want to know exactly what he was about to get into. Yeah, no, I think his Wi-Fi completely just disappeared. So we'll be pending on that. I do want to get to the phone lines, though, because we did have a caller get in, my cousin Vinny. So we'll get to my cousin Vinny, and Thom will be able to hear this later, but I guess I'll just bring him on board while we await Tom's return. My cousin Vinny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'd be doing even better, though, if Thom didn't just disappear mid-sentence. It would have been nice to hear what he was about to say.
You and I can carry the show. We'll just let Thom disappear. Okay, this will be the best show ever.
Okay, we could definitely go with that. What do you got for me, Vinny?
Okay, I have a Lou Holt story, John, that kind of, it's going to take a minute, so I hope I'm not up against a break or something.
No, it's all good.
Just kind of shows what kind of a human being Lou Holtz was. And it's going to take a minute. But back in 1966, you may remember that, Lou Holtz was a coordinator at the University of Connecticut. In my travels throughout my life, I ran into a guy by the name of Don Brown. Don Brown walked on in 1966 to the University of Connecticut football team. Played there a couple of years, worked his way up to special teams guy and all this, and ended up leaving or graduating, but left and went to work for Sears and Roebuck for 25 years or so as a store manager. Well, when Sears and Roebuck started closing its doors, they laid off Don Brown. Don Brown couldn't find a job for a month or two, and he got a little kind of depressed, so he just decided to write Lou Holtz a letter, just saying, "Coach Holtz, you probably don't remember me. My name's Don Brown, and you know, this is what's going on. I just reached out for some inspiration, a pep talk, some inspiration."
Yeah.
He said, "But you probably don't remember me." Well, a couple of weeks later, Don Brown gets a letter, handwritten, from Lou Holtz. It said, "Don, of course I remember you," and blah, 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 blah. "And if you need anything," and he underlined anything, "please reach out." So that was, pretty cool for Don. About 3-4 weeks later, Don got another letter handwritten from Lou Holtz. It said, "Don, I have not heard back from you. If you need anything," again, underlined anything,
Wow.
Okay, please reach out. Well, at the time, Lou Holtz was a spokesman for Walmart stores. All right, so Don wrote him back and said, "Yeah, Coach Holtz, nothing's transpired. I'm kind of down. I'm really down in the dumps. If you can do anything." 2 weeks later, Don Brown gets a call from the head of human resources at Walmart stores. Gets hired on as a store manager for Walmart stores. And when I met Don, he was making well over six figures a year. So Lou Holtz, and this was 30 years later.
Yeah, that's a lot of money in that currency. Yeah, going back then.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Coach Holtz remembered this walk-on from 30 years ago. So that's the kind of human being he was. So, knowing that, how can you say anything bad about Lou Holtz?
Yeah. Yeah, a very personal man. Definitely a very personal man. And it's crazy because there's so many people that got in touch with him and knew about him. And I mean, throughout all of his years coaching as well, he had so many people that were on his side, and he still remembered every single one of them.
Sure, and that's the thing. And great coaches do that. Some of the coaches that are probably listening, have had their former players reach out to them for advice or assistance or, inspiration, and they can relate to it. But I wanted to share that story. I wish Thom could have heard it, but, he can listen to it later. But anyway, thanks a million, John, and I'll let you get back to the phone call.
All right. Appreciate you, my cousin Vinny. Great story right there. Again, talking about Lou Holtz, who just passed away yesterday. But Thom did call in, so he will still be able to be on the show. He needs to do some explanations. All right. Thom, what's up?
Yeah, long time, first time. Thom in Winchester calling in.
Do I get?
I don't know
do I
what
give you the woo?
Yeah, first time like that. I don't know what has. I don't know what has happened, but the entire neighborhood is out. Power. I mean, I was just going on to say about how USC has the most annoying thing that they do. Dun, 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 dun. They do over and over again. The two most annoying things, that and Rocky Top. I hate that if you're a Tennessee fan, I know the Rocky Top. I come back from a game in Knoxville, and I can't get that out of my head. It's just so annoying.
Yeah, well, that means it's a catchy theme song. I think that's
kills me.
Look, I am not the biggest Tennessee fan. I'm not, I like the Titans. I like some of that stuff. You guys know my opinions on it. But Rocky Top, take all the bias away.
Stand it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Hate it. Can't stand it. I mean, it just annoys me to no end. And I'm going to have to hear it next week because I'm going to be in Knoxville all week for the Bassmaster Classic. And I already talked to Brandon Lester, recorded him for this week's Bassmaster radio show. And he is from Fayetteville, Tennessee, and a big ball fan. And his walk-up song or his drive-up song when they bring him in the arena, when I announce him, now from Fayetteville, Tennessee, welcome, Brandon Lester. And then when he comes in, he's going to be coming into Rocky Top. And I'm like, oh, gosh, really? I got to hear that in that arena, at Thompson Bowling Arena. But anyway, having said that, I am not doing this show on the telephone. I could tell you that right now. So one of you ought to go and jump in the other side in the studio and see if you guys can, how long it'll be. Obviously, as soon as it comes up, I'm walking around outside, if you can't tell, looking to see where the trucks are and stuff. By the way, am I the only one? Everything is deader than doornail in here. I mean, dead as a doornail. Am I the only one that when the power goes out, and this is crazy, right? Because I have everything on auto pay and stuff like that. But every time the power goes out, as soon as the power goes out, isn't the first thing that you think of is, did I pay my power bill?
Yeah, if it randomly goes out for you, there's a possibility.
I know, that's the first thing I always think is that, did I not pay the power bill? It's always the first thing that goes through my head, going all the way back to college days or whatever, where that's what jumps into my head. But anyway, I don't know what's going on. So everything is out, and I'm trying to find out what's going on with it. I don't even know if the radio station might be out in Winchester. I don't know how extensive this whole thing is. So anyway, so you guys rock and roll. You got Jeff Diamond coming up. do not bother Pete Weber if I don't get back in. I mean, I can't believe this would be very long, but you never know.
Yeah.
So have some fun.
All right.
Do some spontaneous radio.
We'll keep our hands on the pulse, for whenever you do come back. But I think we could rock it and roll it,
Yeah. Grab Steve Moulton. Steve Moulton's always good for a half an hour. I mean, that guy Steve could do a half an hour on the Fog. You know what I mean? He's just he's good.
Yeah.
Steve is that good.
Yeah.
So you can always go down that path if you need to.
Right.
But I will keep you posted as everybody in the area here is trying to figure out what in the heck is going on.
All righty. Well, good call from you, Tom. Look forward to hearing from you again.
Rack me. Oh.
All right. I don't know what he just said at the end of that. Either way, we do have it's going to be interesting now. I'm not even going to be able to be straight with you guys or try and jump around the whole situation. I don't have a script in front of me. Tom usually comes in. He's got this script. He's got all of this stuff ready for you. So I'm going to completely open up those phone lines to you guys. 256-576-4977 is the number to get in if you guys want to get in on any of the Lou Holtz situation. On top of that, talk a little bit more about, of course, the SEC basketball that's going down. And as well as that, of course, the women's basketball that has already gotten started for the SEC tournament. So we'll hit a quick break. When we come back, we'll close out this first hour, get into the second hour, bring in the new guests that are, of course, going to be from the Nashville listening area, as well as Jeff Diamond. But we'll take a break. When we come back, more phone calls, as well as more sports talk on the other side on this wacky edition, a throwback edition of the Thom Abraham Show. We'll be back here in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Ryan Blaney's gone from plus 550 to 5-1 to win the Straight Talk Wireless 500 at Phoenix on Sunday. Danny Hamlin plus 550. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell both plus 650. And bettors putting money on Tyler Reddick to win his fourth consecutive race to start the season. He's moved from 11-1 to 10-1. College basketball today, Jacksonville State a 4.5-point underdog at New Mexico State. That's at the Pan American Center, 142.5 the total. And it's Southern visiting Alabama A&M. The Southern Jaguars a 1.5 road favorite, 149.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, You can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Westwood One presents Great Moments in Tournament History. Brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer.
A One Manning Show. April 4th, 1988, the culmination of the college career of Danny Manning. Averaging 27 points per contest throughout the tourney, Manning single-handedly carried the Jayhawks on his back all the way to the finals, where he torched Oklahoma for 31 points and 18 rebounds in the championship game.
It's going to happen, it appears, and it comes to Grace. 2 seconds, a long shot, no good. It's over. The dream is real. Kansas has won the NCAA title. Danny Manning with 4 free throws late in the game.
Bob Davis with a call, courtesy of the Jayhawk Network. The 11 losses are the most ever by a national champ, but Manning's March performance is another great moment in tournament history. I'm Kevin Kugler.
97.7 The Zone, your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Incredibly warm this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s under a partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Maybe a passing shower. It does look like most of us are going to be dry. We only drop into the low 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Friday as far as cloud cover is concerned. Temperatures climbing again into the upper 70s and lower 80s. There's also another opportunity for some rain.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by USSSA Softball. If you're looking for a great tournament to put your team in, your high school level softball team in, you need to check out alfastpitch.uSSSA.com and find out where the best tournaments are. Anywhere throughout North Alabama, they've got great tournaments. Go ahead and check it out. alfastpitch.uSSSA.com. That's alfastpitch.uSSSA.com.
You know who would have liked this song? Tom would have liked this song. He would have been like, oh, the Flintstones. I'm pretty sure he has a few sound effects from this opening in his opening. I think it was that like little horn you think you heard. I thought there was also Thom Abraham opening going on through there. But welcome back into the Thom Abraham Show. I am John Abraham, usually on the other side of the glass, but I do a good job at talking. I feel like that has kind of been within my life for my entirety. Because, of course, I was born into this family. And for the longest time, I remember just waking up to Thom talking and doing his show, whether it was in Nashville, whether it was down in Florida. Either way, I had to wake up to it. So it was kind of just embedded into my brain. But Thom had a little bit of technical difficulties at his studio. Of course, power outages, they do happen, and hopefully he's going to get that figured out for the second hour because, of course, Jeff Diamond is going to be joining the show, and I'd love to see where they were going to go with that conversation. So we're going to hope that he can get on before that second hour can get underway, but doesn't mean I'm going to just completely stop this show altogether. Me and Brody can definitely hold down the fort. We've done it before with the Blitz back in the day, and now we're going to continue it with a little bit of the Thom Abraham Show on a Throwback Thursday. Of course, phone lines are wide open to you. 256-576-97.7 is the number to call in. Golly, I missed that. Either way, Thom was going to get into some of the quarterbacks heading into the 2026-2027 season for college football. What the hell is he doing? Why are we getting into this conversation already? It already didn't mean anything whenever we went into this conversation going into SEC Media Days. How much of those quarterbacks were actually relevant when we went into the season?
Some of these guys have just been in court. Like, why are we focusing on the field?
And that's what I'm saying. But either way, we're going to look at it because Thom had it set up. And that's the one thing I could definitely talk about, some quarterbacks. As we look at this list, there's a few that you'll be a little bit like, who is that? And also, oh, he's on that team now? Well, let's look at exactly what Thom was going to be looking at because the SEC's got a few new faces, but at the end of the day, number one's still going to be exactly who you think it's going to be. But at 16, Jared Curtis up from Nashville, going to be a true freshman coming in for Vanderbilt. One of the biggest pickups that Vanderbilt has ever had within the recruiting world. It is the biggest. And Jared Curtis from a smaller Nashville school still did a very good job playing at said school, but also now you're on a totally different level. You're not playing against 2A, 3A, even possibly 4A schools. You are playing against the SEC. It's going to be tough. I see why they put him at 16. Doesn't have any SEC experience. There probably will be a little bit of a quarterback battle, but of course, Diego Pavia not going to be involved. As you saw, he was at that combine just a few days ago. Had some interesting work from him. 15's KJ Jackson. Like to see what Thom had to say about KJ Jackson of all people, but regardless, Arkansas always looking for that next man. Talon Green got brought in, and let's just say that was a little bit of a iffy back and forth project. Never really panned out the way that he needed to be for that Arkansas squad. Very talented athlete, but when it comes to passing the football, it was a tough time. I mean, the interceptions came at the worst time, but for a guy like KJ Jackson, who has played a few reps for this team, he's seen a little bit of work. It's going to be a little bit of another shaky season for these Arkansas Razorbacks, especially if you can't find the right man for the squad. But we move forward. Tennessee's going to have George McIntyre as their man, possibly a quarterback battle going to be going on right there for Josh Heupel's squad. Joey Aguilar, of course, not able to come back and play an extra season. That won't be the case for some other teams. We will get to that here in a second. Aaron Philo for Florida. Interesting, comes over from Georgia Tech. Of course, he was sitting behind Haynes King. He took his reps. He took his time. It'll be interesting to see what this Florida Gators team is going to be able to do with him, especially with a coach that's probably going to be a little bit fresh within the SEC. We know plenty of what he's got to offer as well. John Summerall, of course. Austin Simmons is now a Missouri Tiger. I don't know why he's so far back. I'm going to be honest, Brody. I don't know why he's sitting at 12. I get it. He's playing on a new team. Missouri has been able to bring in quarterbacks and just work with them right out the gates. I know it didn't work too well with Bo Pribula. He kind of got injured. But a guy like Austin Simmons, man, was like one of the top 5 quarterbacks going into last year for Ole Miss team that he didn't end up playing that much for.
There's 2 guys in the top 10 that there's no chance that Austin Simmons is not better than.
And that's what I'm saying, especially with all the talent that team is going to be able to bring back. Austin Simmons, I think that is a little bit of a slouch towards him. Austin Simmons, I'm very hot on that one. Moving forward, Mississippi State's got Kamario Taylor coming back. He was a true freshman last year. He's finally going to get the footing of this Mississippi State team. I already don't know why he's ahead of Austin Simmons. Maybe it's because he's returning to the same team that he played for last year. Don't think that is going to play too much of a role. He is a very athletic quarterback, going to have to see a little bit more from his arm talent. Keelan Russell, possibly Keelan Russell. That's who CBS Sports wanted to put down for number 10. Brody, there's 2 ways you could go about that. Is it stupid in the way that he's a little too high, or is he a little too low?
I just can't see putting a guy in the top 10 who's not proven anything yet when you have a guy like Austin Simmons in 12th. That's all I'm saying.
I see where you're coming from. I think Keelan Russell is extremely talented, and they could also go with Austin Mack. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a quarterback battle going back and forth, but I believe Keelan Russell is going to be the person with that top bid. Of course, you don't want to see him leave the program and go to some other SEC school and find success. So Keelan Russell, he's shown a little bit, but have they been against the right talent? Not that we have seen, but very, very interested to see how Kalen DeBoer can go with Keelan Russell at the helm. Kenny McKee for Kentucky. He came from Nebraska. He flipped from Nebraska. Do you have anything on McKee? We got anything on this guy?
I have never heard this name in my life. I think it's Kenny Minchie.
Minchie, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Kentucky, so maybe they'll be able to find some.
They'll probably beat Auburn.
Yeah, well, probably. I wonder where the Auburn quarterback's sitting. John Mateer for Oklahoma. Interesting, right here. He was a little bit injured last year. And he still proved himself. 8. Okay, all right. I'm not agreeing with this one. I'm not disagreeing with it. Let's see who else we got on this list. At number 7, Marcel Reed. Very intrigued by this team altogether. Texas A&M, a very solid squad. We saw what they were able to do. Who knows? They could have been the team that was playing for a national title. But Nope, they kind of fell off. It was a few home games where they fell off. And Miami kind of just crushed them at home. I mean, you can't say it too much, but they were not able to produce anything on offense. And Marcel Reed's a big reason behind when that offense clicks and why it clicks. So I think that Marcel Reed's a great quarterback. I think he deserves this type of spot, 7 and 8. But I think that Texas A&M is more of a full all-around team and less of just the quarterback. But Marcel Reed, very talented quarterback at that, still working on a little bit of his arm game. And Lenora Sellers is still playing college football. He's not that old, believe it or not. I believe he's just going into his junior year. But Lenora Sellers still, looked at as one of those quarterbacks that's got the intangibles. He's a giant quarterback. He's ready to play some football. But is he going to be able to push South Carolina over that hump? We're going to have to wait and see.
No.
Brody says no. He does not believe in him.
Not a shot.
At number 5, we got Byron Brown coming over from, what is it, Central or South Florida? What was he at?
He was at University of South Florida.
South Florida, yeah. I get them mixed up a little bit. One of them is a national title contender or winner back in 2016 or something like that. Byron Brown, though, huge quarterback. We saw him against Alabama a few years back. And he's also a quarterback with those intangibles, similar to a guy like Lenora Sellers, very big frame, and also, very talented. He's definitely a guy that could take this team a pretty far away. And then flying in down the last 4, we had Sam Levitt at LSU. Loved what we saw from him at Arizona State. Now he's bringing that talent over to the SEC. How is he going to be able to work against the other squads? Gunnar Stockton, of course, returns to Georgia. He's at number 3. Trinidad Chambliss was that quarterback that did get an extra year, and that should be a huge, huge win for Ole Miss. And then at number 1, you might have guessed it, it's Arch Manning. It got better by the end of the season. Can he keep that up and maybe even rise to even greater heights in 2026? There's definitely a possibility of that.
He's got a lot of help on the way.
Yeah, lots of help. Again, you got to look at how much talent do these teams have. For Texas, they've got plenty of them. For Alabama, they got a good amount. For teams like Ole Miss, okay, now we're working with little to nothing. Who makes that team who they are? That quarterback room, Austin Simmons and Trinidad Chambliss helped out a lot. If you lose Austin Simmons and you don't have a guy like Trinidad Chambliss, their season goes downhill fast. I know they had some talented players, all right? The running back was spectacular. The wide receiver core grew into something we didn't even expect. But still, you need that quarterback. We'll be back. Second hour of the Thom Abraham Show coming up. Hopefully Tom is too. I don't know.
So, what's your excuse?
Can these sick people be cured?
You'll need a few good ones because we're going to be locked to the tournament in just a few weeks.
Rivers for 3. With his ability to drive, you're looking at a superstar.
It's the most maddening time in college hoops.
It's alive!
And we've got the big dance covered.
The flipper still fits!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Basketball fans, get ready as the Conference USA Basketball Tournament is set to return to the Rocket City and Probst Arena March 10th through 14th, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with Conference USA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. It's 5 days of exciting hoops action at BBC Probst Arena. Jump into the action by getting your tickets now by visiting Ticketmaster.com. And we'll see you inside the BBC March 10th through the 14th. Come find out who will be putting on their dancing shoes. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. ASUN basketball tournament action. UNA season comes to an end as the 12th-seeded Lions fall to 5th-seed Florida Gulf Coast 69-58. Women's tournament basketball, 15th-seed Auburn knocks off 10th-seed Texas A&M 50-49. Tigers will take on 7th-seed Ole Miss today, 5 p.m. 11th-seed Alabama gets 14 points from Ace Austin. They knock off 14th-seed Missouri. Crimson Tide will take on 6th-seed Tennessee. Tip-off set for 7:30. High school basketball, Final Four action. Class 6A girls. Hazel Green will play for a 6A state title as they down Chelsea 59-32. They're going to take on Park Crossing, who got by Fort Payne 48-46. 6A boys, Coleman over Calera 61-56. 5A boys, Sylacauga 59, Guntersville 50, and 5A girls, Guntersville 53, Briarwood Christian 43. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Mike Owen and Owen Home Appliance. Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance also prides themselves on community involvement as well. They get involved in all kinds of things, sponsoring local teams and events and so on, and they make sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. It's Owen Home Appliance.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog. Now live, here he is. The big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back in to a Throwback Thursday here on the Thom Abraham Show. I am not Thom Abraham. I am John Abraham, as Thom, of course, was in his studio mid-sentence when he decided to just disappear because of a power outage. Very random, but it does happen, so we do understand that. But we would like to introduce a new audience up in Nashville. following WNSR. Appreciate those guys for listening, whether you're listening there. You can't listen in Winchester because, of course, the power outage was very wide. So, of course, that's where Thom is doing his show. And that kind of went the way that it went. But either way, we keep things rolling until Thom does get back or the show comes to an end. And of course, we do that here in the second hour with a little bit of help from a guy that I've known for the longest time, just through Thom, and of course, that is Jeff Diamond. Jeff, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Well, I guess I'm doing all right. I did not expect to be on this side of the glass, but regardless, we're rocking and rolling. And of course, today is a pretty somber day, but also, we get to celebrate the life of an amazing coach, an amazing person, in Lou Holtz, who sadly passed away at the age of 89. And you've been involved with a lot of the NFL and the inner workings of it throughout, my entire life. But talk about how close it was, and some stories that you possibly have of Lou Holtz and almost being involved with that Minnesota Vikings organization that you were a part of.
Yeah, I had met Lou several times, and he was quite the character, as everybody knew. And so it was sad to hear his passing, and certainly an icon in college football coaching. And of course, we had his experience here with the Minnesota Gophers, where he coached the Gophers before he went on to Notre Dame. And of course, when he came here, he said, this is my last job. I'm going to stay with the Gophers forever. But he had that little clause in his contract that he could leave if the Fighting Irish came calling, which they did after a bowl season. And so, yeah, Lou Holtz, he's kind of a, shall we say, sort of loved and not so loved up here in the Twin Cities because of having left the Gopher program when he had kind of raised it up. But certainly a great college football coach, had so many different stops along the way. And I, as I said, got to know him over the years through some mutual friends, and always friendly, always had a smile on his face. And so he definitely will be missed.
No, and of course, I mean, it's all on this eastern side that he had his coaching career, and it is such a weird rivalry type of community up north. So if you go from one school to another, you can be very hated, you can be very loved as soon as you make that shift. But of course, even with schools and teams that he didn't play against and coaches that he never played against, a guy like Ryan Day, he's having a whole altercation with him all the way up until, of course, his end. What was so interesting about that little dynamic that they had? I know a lot of it was in fun, but at the same time, Ryan Day, he took it personal, went on and won against his former team.
Yeah, definitely. There were always those situations. Lou was kind of a lightning rod, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind and rattle some cages along the way. And he did that with Ryan Day. He did that with lots of coaches. But that was his personality, whether he was coaching or whether he was on ESPN or whatever he was doing in his career in football. And so, yeah, Lou Holtz, certainly an icon, and as we said, lots of great stories about him. And he certainly contributed immensely to the sport of football, and especially college football. Not so much the NFL, because he had his one kind of failed year with the Jets and realized very quickly he didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches do come to that conclusion and think about it. Hey, the college way's the way to go, and nowadays it's a little bit different because the two have kind of combined a little bit. Everybody's making money now, and although that's good for the players, there's a lot more of that controversy that goes in whether or not a player should go a little bit longer, and a lot of legal issues there. But, there was possibly another chance that he would have gotten back into the NFL. Thom threw down a conversation around Dennis Green and whether or not he could have been a part of the Minnesota Vikings at one point. How close was that, if close at all?
Yeah, I don't know that it ever got very close. It was kind of during a period of time where one of the Vikings owners, when we had 10 10 owners in the group, and one of them was very close to Lou. And so there was a little scuttlebutt going on, but it was never really close to anything like that happening in those years in the mid 90s. And it was kind of around, there was basically, we had whatever 7 out of 8 years in the playoffs. The one year that it didn't happen, it got a little dicey, but that's where some of those rumors happened, but it really wasn't very close.
No. Jeff Diamond on with us, and we continue on looking into the NFL, of course, having a lot of free agents and some trades that are getting made before we get into all of the draft conversation. And I know my fellow producer on the other side has been just mock draft after mock draft, getting stuff together. But there's also the free agency that you got to think about, and a few quarterbacks that are involved with that, and some possible quarterbacks that might be on the move this upcoming season include Kyler Murray, as well as Tua Tagovailoa. And Thom asked this question yesterday in a different conversation, but at this point in their careers, who are we rocking with? Because Tua's had a lot more success, it seems, but Kyler Murray seems like a quarterback that's got a little bit more longevity. Which one would you be siding with, and why is that?
Yeah, I think they're both kind of have had injury issues, and that's been a problem in their careers, and also maybe a lack of a supporting cast from time to time, especially for Kyler Murray in Arizona. But I think the injuries have been a big problem, and both of those guys are kind of in a similar situation. Kyler Murray's already been told he's going to be let go by Arizona, and he's sitting there with $36.8 million guaranteed, and yet he's got offset language in his contract, which means if another team signs him, whatever they're paying him will come out of what Arizona was going to pay him. So he's not going to make more than that amount of money ultimately. So some team is going to benefit, as was the case with Russell Wilson for the Steelers when they signed him when he was cut by Denver in 2024. And so I think there'll be plenty of teams lining up, and one of them, first and foremost, could be right where I'm sitting here in Minnesota with the Vikings, who are looking for a veteran quarterback to challenge JJ McCarthy. And I still think JJ's got a lot of talent, but had a very up and down year last year, but ended strong with 4 straight wins. They're going to bring somebody in, and whether it's Kirk Cousins, who has a background in the system here, or whether it's Kyler Murray, who would even come cheaper than Cousins. Cousins is going to get released by Atlanta. He's got 12.1 million guaranteed, so he's going to need to make a little more money. It would cost the team a little more money to sign him. But Murray, for a team like the Vikings, that right now has to clear 44 million of salary cap room, which they're going to do very easily by restructuring a couple contracts, Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw. They'll find the money very easily, cutting Aaron Jones, Javon Hargrave, Ryan Kelly, perhaps. But for the Vikings, if they can get a quality quarterback such as Kyler Murray for 1.3 million bucks, I mean, what a bonanza that is for their salary cap. And then they can spend money maybe on a Tyler Linderbaum, who is going to be the premier center in free agency, who was not franchised by the Ravens or transitioned by the Ravens. But he's going to be in demand because the Bears need a center now too. Drew Dahlman, who they signed last year, made the Pro Bowl, and then at 27 years old, he says he's retiring. Now he could reconsider, but now the Bears have a big hole, which happened to the Lions last year when Frank Ragnow retired, and that really discombobulated their offensive line. So there's going to be plenty of competition for Linderbaum, just like there's going to be plenty of competition for other top free agents like Trey Hendrickson. But in terms of the Vikings and Kyler Murray, I think it's a very distinct possibility that he looks at that Minnesota offense and says, okay, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell as a quarterback guru who resurrected Sam Darnold's career, got the best out of Kirk Cousins. And I got to go there and compete with McCarthy, who had an up and down year. But then the Vikings may think, and it's going to be O'Connell's call, and he may think, well, Cousins knows the offense. Kyler Murray hopefully can learn it quick enough. but Cousins knows the offense. He's actually been healthier in his career than Murray, but he's also 10 years older. So it's going to be a very fascinating question up here in the Twin Cities and then around the country, how the dominoes play out with the quarterbacks, with Aaron Rodgers as you go back to Pittsburgh with Mike McCarthy. Is he in play in Minnesota where he wanted to go last year? What happens with Tua and the Dolphins? Are they going to let him go? Is he in a similar situation with that guaranteed money where a team can sign him really cheap? And so he'll have an opportunity. Malik Willis, who was down there with the Titans at one time,
Yeah.
he had a couple of big games when Jordan Love was out, but then you got that uncertainty of a guy who has never started a full season. Then there's the Flaccos of the world, and I mean, on it goes with Jimmy Garoppolo and Russell Wilson and Mac Jones. Can a team trade for him with the 49ers? Do they give enough? So the quarterback market will really be something to watch starting on Monday when the free agency window opens with that quote unquote, what do they call it? You can go ahead and try to sign a player, but it's not considering tampering. It's the legal tampering period. What a ridiculous term! Because I guarantee you the tampering took place at the combine last week when everybody's talking to everybody, all the agents about these free agent quarterbacks and the free agent players at the various positions. But it's going to be an interesting free agent period, just like it always is. And then we lead into pro days and the draft and lots of anticipation for that too.
No doubt about it. Jeff Diamond, a former NFL executive with the Minnesota Vikings, president for the Tennessee Titans. And of course, you're talking about all these different quarterbacks. You threw out the Aaron Rodgers for a split second, and I'm thinking to myself, golly, this guy is still playing football. He didn't have a bad season with the Steelers last year, and maybe a few different crossroads with all of these different places before possibly ending up at the Vikings, similar to his predecessor, of course, Brett Favre. Is there any possibility that teams are still like looking at an Aaron Rodgers and thinking this is the guy we're going to go with for this season, and he'll be able to possibly do what he did with the Steelers last year, and that's take them to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's definitely in play, and I don't get the sense that Aaron wants to retire if he has the opportunity to play for a contending caliber team, which the Vikings are, which the Steelers are. And so, yeah, I think one thing we know in this league is anytime a team, there always are going to be a bunch of teams that didn't make the playoffs that were close. They're going to come up the next year. And the Seahawks were a great example last year, and the Patriots who come from just missing the playoffs and all of a sudden they're in the Super Bowl. So it can happen very quickly with the right free agent additions, with the right draft choices that contribute early on. And that's what teams are looking at right now and trying to figure out how they can be the next Seattle or New England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. And Joe Hunk has just now joined me in studio. And of course, I mean, he worked with the Titans very closely as well over on Titans Radio. And Joe, you were bringing up something you were just thinking about that we have not talked to Jeff Diamond about because Tom's he's not a stitch head like us.
Well, and the biggest thing is the fact that obviously they're going to go with the quote unquote rebranding. We've heard about that and everything. But for you and you guys, when y'all were doing this the first time and you were going through and trying to figure out what the brand was going to be, the logo, everything, for people that don't know what that process is for us to get to where we are, that they now have a time, a date, supposedly uniforms and everything ready to go. What all goes into that?
Yeah, it certainly is a process that goes on with the league, and they want a lot of advance notice so they can get the merchandise prepared and the logo and so forth. I always like the Titans logo. I don't know why they would even want to be changing that, but in terms of uniforms, that happens from time to time, and I used to like those old Oiler blue, and they went away from that, went to the navy blue more, but. We'll see what happens, but it is definitely a process, takes time, and they have to go through all the legalities with the NFL and with the merchandise area and make sure all the approvals are in place and get certainly the sponsors and the merchandise people ready to go with it, with everything. And but I don't know. I think that the more important thing for the Titans is how do they build around Cam Ward? How do they get that thing going with the new coaching staff? And as we said, teams can build very quickly, and the Titans have money to spend in free agency, and they're certainly going to be a team to watch.
No doubt about it. And we've seen teams in the past that go through these drastic changes, whether it's the new uniforms, whether it's the new stadium. All of that right now is happening for the Titans, as well as a brand new quarterback, roughly brand new quarterback, his second year going into it. But I mean, there is a lot to be excited about for a lot of fans that, frankly, haven't been able to be excited about things since I would say 2019 going into COVID year.
Yeah, and I think Robert Saleh can do a quality job there. He's put together a staff that's very experienced, and so they got to find the right people. They got to draft well. They've got to build around Cam Ward on offense, Jeffrey Simmons on defense, but I think it can happen relatively quickly. And I'm sure from their standpoint, what they want to see is significant improvement this year heading into the new stadium, get people excited for that. And I think that's probably a direction that they can head.
Yeah.
Well, and you were talking about free agency. Obviously everybody wants to look offensive line. Everybody wants to look and it's like, hey, we need this. But at the same time, how hard is it to find somebody offensive line, defensive line wise that doesn't have those, injury issues, or you think like, okay, is this guy getting let go because there's something we don't know about it as far as, the livelihood of the knees, like those sort of things whenever you're going through that process, because you're looking for those immediate fixes on an offensive line.
Yeah, I think that's why, to me, the most advantageous free agents to sign were the guys coming out of their rookie contracts. And that's where a Linderbaum is a perfect fit at 25 years old. When you sign these guys that are in their 30s, it's just more of an injury risk, and I think teams have found that historically. And certainly there are guys that do pan out, and maybe Trey Hendrickson has a revival, but he's coming off an injury from last year. Somebody's going to pay him big money as a pass rusher who led the league 2 years ago, and I'm sure the Titans would love to see him plugged in there, perhaps in that defense. But it's still more of a risk when you're signing these guys that are in their 30s, and compared to the guys that are coming out of that first contract or even whatever 25 to 28 years old. That's really the prime years to sign a free agent, and hopefully be able to dodge the injury risk that is really with any player.
Yeah. You don't want that rebuilt title. That's definitely what you want to try and avoid, in hopes that you don't end up bringing in somebody on a overpaid contract, and then of course they get injured, or it's a similar situation to maybe even Deshaun Watson, which you really hope that does not happen again.
Yikes.
Oh,
no, you definitely don't want that to happen. And oh man,
at this point, the reality is really setting in, because it's like, okay, so we're getting close to the end of this contract. What have we seen from this quarterback? It's not anything from what we expected. But of course, that's what happens when you guarantee so much money. But there is a trade that did happen in the NFL just moments ago. And this one's pretty big because we look at a team like the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen and what he's had as wide receivers. It felt like he hasn't had a solid wide receiver group for the last 4 or 5 years. But trade goes down, and the Bears send DJ Moore his way. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a little surprising from the Bears standpoint, because DJ Moore is a quality player, and so now they've got a hole to fill opposite Rome Odunze, and for the Bills, I think they get a really talented player in DJ Moore, who's done it in Carolina, did it in Chicago, and now they get some help there. And but yeah, it's just the trade market is always interesting. Certainly that Rams deal with Kansas City, I thought was really not that surprising when you analyze how the Chiefs approach free agency with cornerbacks. And we saw it with Jarius Sneed, who they didn't want to pay coming out of his rookie deal a couple of years ago, trade him to the Titans. And now Now they go ahead and make the move with Trent McDuffie, who is an all-pro corner, and they've got Jalen Watson, also their other starting corner, as a free agent. What are the Chiefs going to do there? Maybe they figure they can sign Watson cheaper and use all those draft choices to rebuild it at the corner spot. But for the Rams, who their weakness last year was their secondary and their corners, now they get a proven guy in McDuffie. And yeah, they give up some picks, but the 29th overall pick and a third round pick next year and a fifth and a sixth, probably worth it for a guy who's young. As we just said, he's a guy coming out of his first contract.
No doubt. No. And I know there's a guy on the other side of the glass that has definitely gone through all of the different outcomes of the Chiefs and how this works in their favor as well. But Jeff, I appreciate your time. It's always great to hear from you talking with Thom. And real quick, I wanted to let you know, I was looking through some of my old creations when I was a child, and I wanted to get into sports writing and all of that. I had these little comic books. They were supposed to be sports magazines, but I just taped a bunch of like postcards together. And it said on it, the Thom Abraham Show. And then I remember seeing with co-host Jeff Diamond on it. I was like, huh, I didn't know I was that connected with this.
Oh yeah, Thom and I go way back to the WNSR days in Nashville for sure. And so yeah, please tell him I hope he gets his power back real quick.
I do as well.
The whole city?
I think so.
The whole city lost power.
WCDT is also off, so there's a possibility. But regardless, Nashville still got us, as well as Jeff Diamond, and we appreciate it as always, Jeff.
Great, thanks guys. I appreciate it too. Take care. Have a great rest of the week.
You too. Talk with him next week is going to be very intriguing, of course, with all of the free agency opening up, and he brings up that Bears wide receiver room and how they will have to fill that void with DJ Moore on the move. They've kind of already done that. I mean, not only do they have Rome Odunze, who is that tall wide receiver, very talented, but you also have a guy like Luther Burton who can kind of step into that position and replace a guy like DJ Moore. Smaller, very quick, but he started showing a little bit more of his own as they got into the postseason. But we do need to hop into a break. We'll re-up in the next segment. But you guys can call into the show, 256-576-9770. We're so back, baby.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Ryan Blaney's gone from plus 550 to 5-1 to win the Straight Talk Wireless 500 at Phoenix on Sunday. Danny Hamlin plus 550. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell both plus 650. And bettors putting money on Tyler Reddick to win his fourth consecutive race to start the season. He's moved from 11-1 to 10-1. College basketball today, Jacksonville State a 4.5-point underdog at New Mexico State. That's at the Pan American Center, 142.5 the total. And it's Southern visiting Alabama A&M. The Southern Jaguars a 1.5 road favorite, 149.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, longtime friends of the show. To be honest with you, it's been about 20 years that we have been hooked up with TOC, and they just do such a great job. They service the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, most of the high schools in the region. They got 13 locations all throughout the Tennessee Valley. So if you have an orthopedic problem, if you're considering professional care, really, TOC, it's the only logical choice. You need to contact TOC. Make your appointment. When you need them, they're there. Always in the Tennessee Valley, TOC.
I'm a video gamer myself, and so is this guy over here. Joe, do you
I just feel like that's what I should be doing right now.
Yeah. Is this like guys on the street punching other dudes, or is this like
It basically
Fighter?
is. It's Super C. Contra.
Okay. Oh yeah. Were you into Contra whenever you were younger?
Kama Sutra?
Was that what you pronounced it? Contra.
Oh, Contra.
What is Kama Sutra?
Don't look it up.
Okay, I won't, and I hope that none of the other
This is
people
what you're getting for
look this up.
45 minutes, people.
It's the Blitz.
This
We're
is
back.
it right here. You have no clue where we're about to go with this thing.
Let's do this.
That's
Yeah,
right.
This is what happens when Tom doesn't have a backup generator.
Did the whole, seriously, did the mayor just forget to pay the power bill?
I think Tom forgot to pay the power bill
For 2 places?
And the mayor, well, I guess he's not the mayor anymore. He's on the other side. He's the neighbor.
Wait, is the mayor his neighbor?
Yeah, he was. Well, he was the mayor. He's not the mayor anymore.
I was about to say,
but
just
he
go
was
over.
our neighbor. Yeah.
I was about to say, just go on over and just knock on his door and be like, "Hey, man, what's going on?"
Is it just me, or do I think like the worst whenever things like that happen?
Like when everything goes downhill?
Like, why is the power out in the first place in the entire town? Like, it is a beautiful day outside. Like, did the pollen start building up on the power lines or something?
This stuff has happened. No, this is what you get when it's a small town. And nothing against Winchester, because it's absolutely beautiful.
They can't hear us right now. It's okay.
Okay, cool. All right, so everything against Winchester. Here's what happens.
Love
I remember
Winchester.
I was probably 12 years old, sitting at home, summertime, middle of the summer now.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful day outside. All my buddies had to go do things, places everywhere else. So our normal little clique that was hanging out, going around, going fishing, playing ball in the front yard, all those guys were gone. So I was just sitting at the house. Power goes out at about 10 a.m. And I'm sitting there like, that's kind of odd. All right, let me do what my parents did. So I called the New Hope Power Company, let them know. They're like, all right, we're working on it. 12 o'clock comes. 2 o'clock comes, 5 p.m. comes, 7 p.m. comes. Nothing is turned on.
Yeah.
I've missed a whole day of my summer of just hanging out because there's no power. 2 a.m. comes along and the power finally comes back on. The next day we find out it was a raccoon that got into one of the power boxes.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, they had to totally replace the box and they had to do everything else. I'm not saying a raccoon is the reason why this happened, But in small towns, things like that just happen.
Well, I guess I would take the power randomly going out over
in the summertime in Alabama.
Oh, then just go outside and have fun.
It actually seriously was cooler outside at times.
Yeah, it would force you outside to be a normal kid.
Yeah, I couldn't drive. I was just like, all right, I was going to ride my bike around, but then I'd get hot and I'd come back in. So I was like, great, it's not even better in here.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks. It was all it was. But it was all because like a raccoon or a possum or something like that got into one of the fuse boxes down the street, and it was that could happen.
Still, I would take that over some of the things that we deal with here in the city. But regardless,
that's true.
This is the Thom Abraham Show. I am John Abraham. This is Joe Hunk, who just joined us in the last segment as we had a great conversation with former NFL executive Jeff Diamond. Of course, worked very closely with the Vikings, who've got some changes this offseason, as well as the Titans, who have also got a lot of things going on,
still doing a lot of changes.
including a new uniform drop very soon, which Brody's looking like he's going to start telling me something already. Do we have like breaking news? Did they drop it?
It's not breaking
Another
news,
trade.
but there is very important news regarding the Titans. Jeremiah Love is there for a visit today.
Ooh. Oh, Joe, you don't
Hold on.
You don't want to see a different running back regimen going in there.
Well, no, the problem is with Tajay Spears, he had the injury history and all that. So look, here's the way that this is going to work. So Jeremiah Love, I'm not sure where he's being projected right now. I haven't looked at the mocks. Can you help me, Brody?
He is not making it past 9.
Okay. So this is one of the 20 visits. All right. Like this could be one of the 20 visits where you either go ahead and in the draft would trade somebody like a Tajay Spears away, or you would trade a Tony Pollard away who has had back-to-back solid seasons, and you could get some return value on him. Those are some of the possibilities. This is also what part of these visits, or is it 30 visits? I believe it's 30. So the 30 visits that they're getting, this is going to be part of that where they're just like, all right, we want to interview you. We want to talk to you. If for some reason somebody comes to us with a trade at our spot and we drop back to this position, we kind of want to do our due diligence. You know, remember also, if you're in like a 250-mile radius, that doesn't count against you. So like if a player, I think, lives or went to school within like a 250-mile radius of, say, the Jets, then they can interview all of those players and it doesn't go against their 30 official visits that they get.
Okay.
So a guy like this, they're wanting to just do it just to see, okay, one, we want to know the value.
Okay.
Two, what if somebody else has them on a higher spot and we know what we know and we can use that to get something from them because of the interviews we did. That's the whole thing. It's all just obviously just doing your due diligence.
Well, I'd love to continue this conversation with you, Joe, because I feel like we could have a lot of fun here in these last few moments of the show. But Thom has just hit me up and he said, "Oh, the power's back on." So
I just got here.
I know you had a half a segment and another half a segment, and I know we could
5.5 minute drive.
We could throw it to Thom, but at the same time, we could just finish this segment off. You know what? Take it away, Thom. We'll just throw it your way. Is he ready? Is he ready? He might not.
He may not even be ready.
Yeah. He may not be sitting at the seat. Okay, he is there. All right. Well, thank you. We did a good job.
You guys.
Take it away, Thom.
We got you, Thom.
Let me know when I'm up.
You're on.
I'm on.
Hey,
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back from. So who's in the studio? Is John and Joe still in the studio too?
Yeah, I'm here. I hadn't packed up my stuff just yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Are we in commercial break or are we out?
Oh, you're on.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, you're on.
I'm on. Oh, this is great. Now, have you guys taken the break that we take at that I take at 30 and that I'm supposed to take at 20? You guys do that yet?
We took the break on time.
Yeah, we did.
It was a great conversation with Jeff Diamond. Got a lot of information. I don't know if you had any extra things you wanted to ask him, but you know what, you can ask him next week.
Well, did you ask him about whether or not they tried to hire Lou Holtz at Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Well, I want Joe to hang around for a minute. We are going to have Pete Weber. So if you want to go ahead Brody right now, if you want to go ahead and call Pete Weber, that number is on the sheet, and we'll get him in here. Joe just elected to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes,
is the great Pete Weber, and I know you've had interaction with him. I have actually known Pete for probably 30 years. I knew him. I remember being excited when Pete Weber went to Nashville from Western New York to be the voice of the Predators when the Predators was first invented. And we were all so proud of him. And, of course, he had done Buffalo Sabres and Rochester Red Wings back in the day. It was all part of his history from the same area that I was from. And so we want to congratulate him on that. He's a great, great guy. He's been tremendous over the years.
No, he's been absolutely amazing. And obviously now, if you ever go to Bridgestone, he's got his restaurant on the back side of it.
Know that.
Yeah, right in front of the Country Music Hall of Fame. He's got his restaurant right back there in the back that has beautiful patio. It has delicious food. I was over there for I think it was the NHL draft that they had. We were over there hanging out with him, and he stopped by and we talked, as well as the first game of the season a couple of years ago. So it was an amazing guy. He has a tremendous restaurant as well. So trust me, it's not like he's, not going anywhere whatsoever, because that man is a staple for the Preds and what everything's been going on at Bridgestone.
Yeah, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. The great Pete Weber, the Hall of Famer, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Pete Weber joins us. Pete, was your first reaction? What took so long, for God's sakes? I figured you were in the Hall of Fame 20 years ago.
No, that was not my reaction. I got to tell you, number one, I was surprised. I was truly surprised by it all. And the boys set it up so that I would be surprised, though I knew once I saw Brad Willis walk into the room, because I had cooperated with Brad a number of years ago to do a similar thing to Terry Crisp. I had a pretty good idea at that point what was going on.
Is this the only Hall of Fame you're in, or are you in other Hall of Fames?
This is my fourth.
Your fourth Hall of Fame? Goodness
Yes,
gracious. What are the other Hall of Fames that you're in?
So the Buffalo Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then working down here with the Tennessee Radio.
Wow, that is phenomenal. My first job in the media was Empire Sports Network back in the day, which you appeared on many times. Yeah, we are alums of the Empire Sports Network. I was the talking head on Fan TV for college football. I was one of their talking heads on that thing back in the late 90s, and I was telling the listeners just before you came on that I became aware of you years ago. Rochester, didn't you do Rochester Red Wings for some time as well? Did you do a little bit of Red Wings?
In 1982 and 83, yes.
1982, 83. So I was 22, 23 years old when you were doing that. And, long before I got into the broadcasting business. And when I landed in Huntsville, Alabama, about a week after I got there, they asked me to do an SPHL championship game between the Huntsville Havoc and the Knoxville Ice Bears. And I had, even though I played hockey at St. John Fisher College in Rochester, I had never broadcast hockey, and I called you. I don't know if you ever remember this, but I called you and I said, Pete, I said, Pete, I got to do a game. And I've never done it. And you said puck position. You just said puck. Just tell them where the puck is. That's the most important thing. You'll get the names down later.
And secondarily, who has it? Right.
Yeah, and then who has it? And I was lucky because in minor league hockey, we have very few Europeans and Russians. You know what I mean? So I had a bunch of good kids from Sault Ste. Marie and Boston and places like that. So it made it, it made it really easy. And then the other thing you taught me, not to go down memory lane, but I ran into you at the Alabama, Minnesota Music City Bowl in 2005 or 6, 4, something like that, in the press box. I think 4, maybe 2004. And you had an egg timer that you were tipping over. And I'm like, what the heck is he doing? And you told me that you used an egg timer and you would turn it over so that every 3 minutes you would give the score. And that was your way to indicate that you would do that, which was brilliant,
I still have that egg timer, Tom. And there was a trick that I learned picking it up when I was in college in a book written by the one, the only Walter Lanier Red Barber.
Oh, my goodness. That is phenomenal. So we got
going back to the 40s.
So we got some young broadcasters in the studio that are listening to this, so you guys can take the young. I mean, Joe Hunk is still Joe. I still consider you young, but get yourself in the regions. And young John, that would be a good tip for you guys as well. The great Pete Weber with us here. All right, Pete, there were two things. I wanted to congratulate you on the Hall of Fame, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, which is phenomenal. Pete,
Much
of course,
appreciated, Tom.
long and still voice of the Nashville Predators. And I remember long before I ever knew that I would ever land in the Tennessee Valley, becoming a Preds fan. I was born and bred Bruins fan, who are in Nashville, ironically, tonight. But
yeah,
I long before I ever got to this region, when you were named the voice of the Nashville Predators, and you remember those first year anyway, you did Hockey 101, and there were like questions that people could ask you and so on and so forth. We were so excited that one of our Western New York guys was going down there, and it was a bunch of yous at the beginning of the Preds. There was
Correct.
a bunch of yous in the late 90s that came down from New York.
Right. Pete Rogers, who was still our equipment manager, he came down. Jerry Helper from the Sabres front office from when I was there in the mid-'80s. And there are Bob Bugner, who was a player on those Sabres, came here as well in the first expansion draft.
Yeah, that is tremendous. Now, the other thing and the other reason that I wanted to connect with you has to do with with Notre Dame, of course, in the passing of Lou Holtz. And look, we're not kidding anybody. Lou Holtz was great. He's a great American, but like all of us who ever lived or walked the face of the earth outside of Jesus Christ, there were mistakes made, and Lou kind of left this little trail of violations every time he left the place and went to another place. That would be following him around. But by and large, the good outweighed the bad by so much, and really a great American. Your recollections of Lou Holtz, just you being a proud Notre Dame alum.
Well, number one, I'm never going to forget how he'd been in hospice care for at least 8 weeks, and how he hung on and did not pass away until it was Knute Rockne's birthday. That just astounded me.
I didn't even think of that.
And then the first Notre Dame game I was able to take my wife to be to was the Catholics versus Convicts game in 1988. The Miami Notre Dame game, where that was obviously the key to them winning the national championship that year. And the way Lou asked his players, he said, okay, if you're going to brawl before the game, just do one thing. Leave Jimmy Johnson's butt for me. And that lit up my life, I got to tell you.
Yeah, no, that was great stuff. And he won that championship in '88 there at Notre Dame. And I honestly, now I know they've come close. They've been in the national championship game a couple of times since then. Not real competitive in those games, but I actually thought that may be the last one. I kind of thought that someday history might view Notre Dame kind of like the Ivy Leagues, that they would, based on their academics and everything else, that maybe Notre Dame wouldn't keep up. Maybe that's not the case, but it'll be interesting to see where, going forward, Notre Dame can compete.
I've been very impressed with Marcus Freeman. At my class reunion a few years ago at the dinner, he was on stage with me, and I had a nice chat with him. But I got to tell you, I think that Notre Dame probably should have been declared winners in '93 when they knocked off Florida State.
Well, they should have been, right? They had beaten Florida State, and then Florida State was named the national champion that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, just before I let you go, just a thought on the Preds. I mean, they were making a run there and looking pretty good. I thought they had one stolen from them against the Detroit Red Wings there on the day game.
Yes, they did.
The bad no call, there's no doubt about it. But with the trade deadline looming, I know they've made a few moves already. Is there a way that this team could still get back into the playoff picture?
If they could just string together a few, and that's all it would take. Put together 3-4 wins and then see what happens. I'd be more than happy to take my chances with that.
Yeah, that absolutely would do it. Pete Weber has been our guest. Pete, congratulations on this on the Hall of Fame. That's tremendous for you, and thanks for the memories about Lou Holtz. And we'll look forward to chatting again.
Tom, thank you. And I'm not going to do this like John Sebastian, but welcome back.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, not welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back, Big Dog. But appreciate it. All right, man. Thank you.
You got it.
Pete's reference to us being back on in Nashville at WNSR, which we've been, I don't know, how long has it been now? Has it been almost a year, I guess, since we've been back on there? All right, and it's my bad for not getting Pete in earlier. All right, when we come back, we're going to finish things up, but I got Joe Hunk in his studio. He's my good friend for years, and I have he's a great seam head, and I have a baseball question about the ABS that I want to run by him and get his thoughts on, which we will do when we return. It's the Thom Abraham Show. It's a fractured Thom Abraham Show, but we're back, and we're closing it out next right here. More in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Basketball fans, get ready as the Conference USA Basketball Tournament is set to return to the Rocket City and Probst Arena March 10th through 14th, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with Conference USA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. It's 5 days of exciting hoops action at BBC Probst Arena. Jump into the action by getting your tickets now by visiting Ticketmaster.com. And we'll see you inside the BBC March 10th through the 14th. Come find out who will be putting on their dancing shoes.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit DriveSafeAlabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458-7214. That's 1-800-458-7214. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Department of Justice, ADECA grant number 18 VA VS 050, the ABA, and this station.
Four-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa, hailed as one of the world's greatest guitar players. Blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa, performing live March 19th at the BBC Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa. Every show is a new experience.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. And they have a brand new product for you. If you happen to be standing on a concrete or tile floor, Valley Equipment has the exact machine for you. Now, whether it's new construction or daily work environments or an area that's been neglected for far too long, the Valley Equipment team of experienced professionals can help you get the right floor scrubber or sweeper for your needs. Call Valley Equipment and ask them for more details on how they can help you out today. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Last few minutes. Appreciate the boys jumping into action. I was literally in mid-sentence when we had this massive power outage.
Yeah, you were.
It affected, affected the entire town of Winchester, where the Big Dog Production Studio is. But the guys jumped into action, and Joe Hunt came running down as well to help out, which is really valuable as well. And Joe, I got to ask you, I've been, the ABS system, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now. We've seen it in play in Huntsville at the Trash Panda games and in Nashville at the Sounds games. And so we have seen it tested in the minor leagues. And now that we're seeing it in play in spring training, I get that it's really fast in terms of, when a challenge is made by the catcher, the batter, or the pitcher. I get that it does happen quickly, but it still feels like it breaks the flow up, and the ump has to come out, and the ump says it's being challenged, and then they show it, and then they say what it is, and then he goes back, and now they have two challenges left. Why can't he just point to the plate? Just point. All right. And then that's a signal. They show it, and then he makes the striker ball signal, and we move on. It does seem to break up the flow, even though it's fast.
Well, and part of it also has to do with the system having to get the answer ready. UAH actually is their first 3 games of the season. We took place with the Houston Invitational. So we were at Dankin Park for the first 3 games, and they used that tournament as well as the one that was going on last weekend with Division I baseball as a testing ground for the ABS system. So we got to use it for 3 games, and it does break it up a little bit, but there's also some strategy that's behind it. I saw the teams from the first game that they did it to the second game to the third game, how they changed their strategy when they were utilizing it. First game that we used it, I want to say Luke Sanji may have called for it like the second pitch of the game.
Yeah, don't do that.
So then they started figuring out, well, hold up, we need to save these for later, strategic situations, 2 strikes, those sort of things. But the system itself works. Also, if the board is not working, the umpire is getting the notification in his ear that he can still relay. So if the board's off, because that happened to us, the umpire's still getting the answer. So there's always going to be an answer in every single situation.
I just wish they got the answer all the time. I don't understand even having to do challenges or anything else. Since we have the technology, why not have there be 1 beep for a strike and 2 beeps for a ball, and let it tell the umpire, and let's just roll with it. But anyway, Joe, I appreciate you jumping in and helping out the guys getting the show done today. Everybody did a tremendous job on the other side of the glass as well. We'll do it all over again on Football Friday tomorrow. And until then, I'm Thom Abraham. Have a great day, everybody.
Woo!